Hey there, church. Prophet Chad. I say this with seriousness laced with sarcasm, church. How brave are you? How adventurous are you? Because if you're not very, then don't listen to this unless you truly want to grow and mature. Coming more and more each day into the full stature of Christ. Because to continue listening to this, you're going to venture into questions that will challenge every aspect of your life. Last chance to stop it. To continue forward will cause growth. All right. For those of you who are still with me, let's talk about gardening. When you do a garden, you got to till up the dirt. And you do that for multiple reasons. To make the dirt easier to work when planting, to make it easier for the new plant roots to push through, but also to remove any rocks, roots, debris that might be in the soil that would hinder growth. Matthew 13, Mark 4, and Luke 8, all three have an account of a parable that Jesus shared that teaches us this very thing. But to do that, you've got to be able to have an honest, sit-down conversation with yourself and the Lord. Self-analysis, self-reflection. Healthy self-reflection isn't about condemning yourself. Let me clarify that. This is not about beating yourself up. This is about preparing your garden, your heart, for planting. It's about inviting God to search your heart honestly. Psalm 139, 23 and 34. And allowing truth to produce growth. As you grow, you learn to ask yourself certain questions in a certain way to help steer your mind, your thoughts, into a productive direction. And the list grows as you grow. This is going to be your last chance to stop this, because we're going to be getting into a list of questions that are going to really make you think, that are going to present challenges. They're going to give you opportunities. As we used to say in the business world, something would be messed up. And instead of saying, well, this is a mess, we got to get it fixed, they would just simply say, to be diplomatic and smooth, well, we have an opportunity here. Well, moving forward, you business types, we're going to have several opportunities to get stuff fixed. Here are some questions that can help uncover what's really going on beneath the surface. There are a lot of them. So write these down, listen to it again. Make it a point to ask these questions. They will present challenges, but their destination leads to the very place we all want to go. God's presence. And I'm not just talking about a final destination mentality. I'm talking about a daily existence in God's presence. And these are questions you can ask yourself, and I would encourage you to ask them every day. So, remember, these are about self-reflection and self-analysis. At any point, if you allow yourself to drift off, thinking about others on how they need to deal with this, you have allowed yourself to be pulled off track. This is about self-awareness and allowing God to till your soil. Are you ready? Here's some having to do with our relationship with God. If no one else knew I was a Christian, would my private life reveal it? Do I love God Himself, or mostly what He can do for me? Am I pursuing intimacy with Christ, or just religious activities? When was the last time God corrected me, and how did I respond? Am I obeying what I already know, or just waiting for more revelation? Is there an area of my life I refuse to surrender? This next list of questions has to do with our character. Who am I when no one is watching? What kind of person am I becoming? Am I growing in the fruit of the Spirit, or just gaining more Bible knowledge? What sin do I keep excusing? What weakness do I keep blaming on my personality? What would those closest to me say is my greatest character flaw? You can also add to that, what would those closest to me say is my greatest character strength? Because this is not just about learning who you are in the negative aspect, but learning who you are so you can begin to walk in what God has given you to walk in. These next ones have to do with our motives. Why do I really do what I do? If no one noticed or thanked me, would I still serve? Do I seek God's approval or people's applause? Would I still obey God if it cost me my reputation? Am I building God's kingdom or my own? This next list of questions has to do with our relationships. Do I listen to understand, or do I listen to respond? Am I easy to correct? Have I truly forgiven those who hurt me? Is there someone I need to apologize to? Do people feel loved after spending time with me? Am I more interested in being right than being reconciled? Here's some questions about our thought life. What occupies my mind most often? What lie do I repeatedly believe about myself or God? What fear has the loudest voice in my life? What do I dwell on that steals my peace? What thought patterns need to be renewed? That would be Romans 12:2. Here's some about your priorities. Told you it was a lot. Where do my time, money, and attention actually go? And this is your priorities. What am I sacrificing? I can't read my own stuff here, y'all. What am I sacrificing my relationship with God for? Am I busy doing good things while neglecting the best things? I could camp out on each one of these and talk for a few, but I haven't, because I just want you to have the questions. But this one I'm going to hit just a little. There is a trap out there that many have fallen into, And it's a trap of busyness. People are just busy, busy, busy. So busy doing, they don't know how to be. And it falls right in with this question. Am I busy doing good things while neglecting the best things? If my calendar revealed my priorities, what would it say? Here's some about our faith. What am I trusting God for right now? Maybe that I hush and get through these questions. Sorry. Do I pray because I depend on God or because it's a habit? When life gets hard, where do I run first? What does my response to suffering reveal about my faith? Here's some about our humility. Do I secretly think I'm more spiritually mature than others? How do I react when I'm overlooked? How do I respond when someone disagrees with me? Can I celebrate someone else's success without comparison or competition? Here's some about our influence. What kind of atmosphere do I create when I enter a room? Are people drawn closer to Jesus because of my life? Not because of what we do or say, but because of our life. Yes, there is a difference. If someone imitated my life, would they become more like Christ? Here's some hard questions. Like those others weren't tough enough. What truth am I avoiding because it's uncomfortable? What am I pretending not to know? What am I protecting that God is trying to remove? What idol would hurt the most if God asked me to lay it down? What excuse have I repeated so many times that I now believe it? If Jesus physically walked beside me for 1 week, what would change immediately? What would repentance actually look like in my life today? If today were my last day, if today was my last day, what unfinished obedience would I regret? A final question, and this may be the most important of all. Lord, what do you see in me that I don't see yet? You see, that's what this is all about, church. The tilling of your soil, your heart. Getting rid of all this junk so you can see what God's trying to reveal in you. What He's trying to create in you, through you, and in others. That's the kind of prayer David prayed. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offense. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. And David prayed other things similar. He didn't just sit back and wait for the process to happen. He actively sought after it. The Lord's in his heart tilling. He's right there watching. Show me, Lord. Show me what I need to pick up. Oh, there's a rock. Let's get that. Oh, there's a root. Let's get that out of there. We don't need that. We don't see a rock in our garden and be like, ooh, that's a pretty rock. I think I'll leave that right there. And then you get that look from the Lord. Again, church, I encourage you to write these questions down. These are questions that I've asked myself over the years that I've encouraged others to ask. As you grow and ask these questions, you may think of others. But these are real eye-openers. They are real self-evaluators. They're not for you to evaluate others. They're for you to evaluate yourself. These are questions I ask myself. And again, I encourage everyone to do the same. So go back and listen to this again. Write them down, pause it, whatever you got to do. But if you truly want to grow and mature and become everything Christ wants you to be, there's not one question on that list that you wouldn't want to ask. You may not like what you see or what the answer is, but that's okay. That's what this process is about. Now, if you find those questions offensive and a waste of time, well, I say with the utmost seriousness and sarcasm, you just continue warming your seat and do your best. Try not to hinder everyone else from growing. Yeah?
Yeah. Love you all.